Welcome to the Dark Zone, WCAK 1124 AM's presentation of The Alien Burrito, featuring Jonathan Reed, November 11 and December 28, 1998. And now your host, Art Bell.
From the high desert in the great American Southwest, I bid you all good evening or good morning, depending on the time zone you're in, and there are many. From in the west, the Tahitian and Hawaiian island chains, eastward to the Caribbean and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Good visions in both places. South into South America, north all the way to the pole, and worldwide on the internet. Thank you, broadcast.com. This is Coast to Coast AM. I'm Art Bell, and tonight you're going to get what you've been waiting for. We have with us Robert Graith, who was the man who sent me these incredible photographs and a videotape of an alien encounter that Dr. Jonathan Reed had about 2 years ago, and you're going to hear the entire story in a moment. As backup for this story, let it be known the photographs are on my website right now at www.artbell.com. In order that you might know for sure that I am not just dealing with computer-generated images, I scanned these photographs, Kodak 35mm photographs, myself. And I've got the photographs, and I held them up for the studio cam, and they're still up there now, if you want to see them. So you can know they, whatever it is, it was not manipulated in a computer. These are original Kodak photographs of an alien encounter. You'll hear all about it shortly. I think that most of you by now know the story that we are about to tell. I received a phone call from a young gentleman, Robert Graith, last Friday night, Saturday morning, who told me an amazing story of an alien encounter and said he had proof. Well, I receive a lot of such calls, so I nevertheless heard the story, said send the proof. Well, he did. I got a videotape of the encounter. I got a total of 6 35mm photographs, of which I have posted 3. I have a partial script of the story itself. I mean, this evidence just came rolling in, so I put it up on the website where you'll find it now. If you can get into the website, it's in total gridlock at the moment. Even I can't get in. That's how heavily it's being hit for various reasons. And here are now we're going to also bring Whitley Strieber on. Whitley is a contactee and knows a great deal about these sorts of things. And Whitley is going to be listening and then asking questions as I'm going to ask as we proceed. First of all, Robert Graith, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, Robert was the original man who called me that last Friday night, Saturday morning, right, Robert?
That's correct.
Okay. We now also have with us Dr. Jonathan Reed. Jonathan?
Good evening, Mr. Bell.
Good evening, Doctor.
Honored to speak with you.
Thank you. And listening in the background for the moment is Whitley Strieber in San Antonio, Texas. Whitley?
That's right. I'm here.
All right. Doctor, we have had Robert, I think, as best he was able, lay out the story of what happened. From you, beginning to end, I would like you to, I just want to take the time now to simply say, tell us what happened. And when? First of all, when was this?
Well, this took place approximately 2 years ago, October 1996. And in Washington State, in the Cascade Mountain area, I was hiking, a day hike with my dog, and we had gone some, hour and a half to 2 hours from where I had parked my car up a fairly well-known trail, taking one side trail. It's a fairly mountainous region, but it makes a great hike, great day hike. Mm-hmm. Pacific Northwest is a beautiful area. I'm not sure if you've been here or not.
I have.
But we have some lovely country.
It is beautiful. I've been there, not hiking, but I've been there, so I can well imagine getting out in the wild. So you had a backpack with you, I take it?
Right. I had a backpack. I had some small, day rations. I had my cameras with me, and that's always good for wildlife, that you run across deer and fox and other such.
So you weren't out hunting with guns. You were out hunting with cameras.
Right. I'm not a hunter.
Okay.
But it's a good place to take your dog too, because there's not a lot of places in the city you can let your dog run.
What kind of dog is that? Was that?
It's Susie was a golden retriever, 7 years old.
I've had several Goldens. They're wonderful dogs. So here you were, October 19th, morning, afternoon?
Actually, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you were how far down this trail, please?
I was about, I'd say, an hour and a half to 2 hours from where I had parked my Jeep.
Starting point.
Right.
So you were out really in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
All right. First indication of, I guess you've got your dog out in front of you, or your dog's running. Susie.
Dog is just going crazy, sniffing nature,
Sure.
feeling amaranth. And she's out investigating everything, and all of a sudden she took off like a bolt of lightning, which occasionally dogs do.
Sure.
They'll go after rabbit or fox or, deer even. We had seen a deer earlier in the day. And the same type of thing had happened, but, without incident. This time, I noticed she took off, and then all of a sudden I heard barking. Now again, this was not something that I was too upset about because raccoons and dogs don't get along.
Figured you probably had something cornered.
Right, which has happened before.
Sure.
But then the barking changed its tone. The tone went from being a normal dog barking at something to almost terror or anger, like it had trapped something.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I thought, this could be a bear, because we do have bear.
Sure.
In Washington State, and so I thought, well, maybe that it's either that or maybe some type of cat. We have some big cats also. So I kind of hurried along up the trail. Now she was totally out of sight. She was probably 100 to 150 yards ahead of me, and the brush was fairly heavy, and there was a ridge that I could not see over. As I proceeded, I decided that maybe I should be cautious. I picked up a branch that was laying next to the path, about the size of a baseball bat.
You thought you might be walking into the arms of a bear rearing up, or who knows?
Exactly.
Okay.
And at that time, the dog's tone changed from barking to howling.
You didn't take guns with you.
No, I don't have a gun.
Now Susie's howling.
Susie is howling and sounding like she's being mauled.
Yeah, you can tell when a dog is in a fight for its life. It makes a very different sound.
Right. It's almost a yelping versus a barking. At that point, I came up across the ridge and turned to my right and saw the dog completely surrounded by what looked like a furious, moving target. And the only way to describe it is the air around this subject that I was looking at was vibrating very, very fast.
Vibrating.
Almost like a paint shaker.
Okay, I know what you mean. Sure, they're very
was
fast.
Moving so fast, I could not make out exactly what I was looking at. At first, I thought it was a child, but then I knew it wasn't.
When you say target, this is Whitley Strieber, what did you mean, a moving target?
Well, it was vibrating so fast, my vision was targeted on it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, in other words, Whitley,
It looks like a target, but
the analogy was good. The paint shaker where you kind of see a blur of movement. I think that's what he means.
Exactly. At that point, I watched my dog grabbing onto the forearm of this being as the being grasped the snout of my dog, literally tearing the head off.
God.
And at that point, I was so emotional that I literally yelled for the dog to let go, not realizing exactly what I was happening and looking at. And this was happening so quickly.
You're trying to call off your dog.
Right. And at that moment, this creature looked back at me and stopped. And that was the first time it quit vibrating.
Gotcha.
And it looked at me, turned its head down just a little bit, and gave me this look that could kill. Turned back to my dog, and at that point, my dog started to die.
Now, you started to die.
I could tell that it was over.
You were basing this on what? I mean, it started to die.
Having her head torn back.
Oh, my.
Literally, jaw exposed and her head torn back. This is all happening in seconds.
I understand.
At that point, I ran forward, and I don't know where the logic came from. I don't know. There was no forethought. I literally struck with this bat, hitting the creature.
When the creature stopped vibrating, at that point you had a clear, I would presume, a clear look at the creature's full body and face and arms and legs, and you saw the whole creature clearly at that point.
As clear as it could be under the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
An important fact to remember, too, and something Jonathan forgot.
Stay close to that phone, Robert.
Okay. To mention is the fact that the dog actually was sucked into itself.
Sucked into itself.
It started to literally implode.
And the alien at this point, what obviously is an alien, according to the photographs, just stood there.
It had better be.
Pardon?
It had better be an alien.
Oh, it was an alien.
We don't want these things living here.
It stood there and kind of took a step back, looking at the spot where Susie was. And at that point, turned, and at that point, looked toward me as I lunged at it.
For those who don't have computers and have not yet seen the photograph, can you describe this creature for us?
Yes. I've had a long time to look at what I was with and consider what category it would be in. And the physiology of it is similar to what people call a gray, but yet the facial structure, the actual skull structure, I believe is smaller.
How tall was it?
It was about 4.5 feet tall.
4.5 feet.
Right, about 53 inches is what we finally measured.
How many inches?
53.
53.
Could you describe its body as being graceful?
Very, very fast.
No, I mean in the way that it looked.
Pardon?
The appearance of the
Did it
body.
have a graceful appearance, the body, or an angular one?
Very thin appendages.
Uh-huh.
And when it moved, but it moved with such speed that I almost could not see some of the appendages during that time.
Did it walk as we walked?
It took a step backwards when I saw it, and it literally was a step back.
A step as we would imagine
Yes.
a human step,
Yes.
all right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, this all happened within, 10 to 15 seconds. It was very quick.
Of course.
Now, the eyes of the ET looked a lot like the Greys.
Yes.
Angular, large, bulbous shape. But they were a different color. They were a pinkish, dark pinkish in color.
That's something that's described fairly often, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not much in the literature, but in letters, you get a steady stream of letters describing that color.
All right. Dr. Reed, are you still, you are a psychiatrist, is that correct?
Psychologist.
Psychologist, all right.
I used to be.
Used to be. You are no longer practicing?
No, I'm not.
Were you practicing at the time this occurred?
Research.
You were
I was a researcher.
You were a researcher, and you were self-employed or?
Yes.
Self-employed. All right. Hold on. We're going to take a break here, everybody. Okay, we're in a break. Dr. Reed, are you there?
Yes.
Listen, I did ask earlier. Now, I have abided by the wishes of Robert, and I have not used anything from the videotape. But if you have any audio at all from that videotape at some point,
I have it queued up.
you have. Oh,
And now you're speaking of the wood scene with the breathing.
yes.
That's what I've got queued up.
All right.
Queued it up right after the swearing.
Thank you. Yeah, there were some words in there that could not be repeated on radio.
Right.
All right, everybody stand by. You've got a good, I don't know, about a 5 or 6 minute break. And, yes.
Is this any better? I switched the phones.
Did you hang up the other one?
Yes, I did.
No, actually, your other phone's better if you just stay right into it.
Okay.
The key
I'll
is
go back to the other one.
the key is to stay right into that phone.
Just talk louder.
Don't let it drift away from your chin.
Alrighty.
Excuse me, your mouth. A lot of people sort of let it drop down to their chin. So yeah, I'll switch back to the other one. Stand by, everybody. And the guitar. Once again, here I am. Good morning, everybody. My guests are Robert Braith, who originally got my attention by sending me a fax using one of my favorite expressions from Contact, the movie Contact, said, "Want to take a ride?" That's how it all began. And now, Dr. Jonathan Reed, the man who had the encounter with this creature in the woods in Washington. We've got the photographic proof. If you want to see it, it's up there on the web right now. You're going to also tonight hear some of the audio as well, I just found out. So stand by for that. We'll get back to our guests and resume the story of what happened to Dr. Jonathan Reed in just a moment. Don't go away. All right, let us continue now with the story from Dr. Reed, Jonathan Reed. Doctor, so I guess we left off at the point where you were describing this creature physically, which you pretty well did. Very skinny limbs, very fast movements, a head kind of like a gray, but not quite. That can be seen on my website, but for those who don't have it, there you have it. That is a general description. If you had to guess on a weight, and I guess you don't have to guess, you probably know by now, how much did this creature weigh?
50 pounds.
50.
Extremely light.
Very light, all right. So you hit this creature, you struck this creature in the head, then what? I mean, did it go down right away?
It fell to the ground instantly. And as it fell, it screamed this just terrible scream. Like nothing I had ever heard before.
Not that I've ever crushed a human skull, Doctor, but you wielded this stick, or this brass stick, I guess, like a baseball bat, you said.
Yeah.
And you hit this creature. Did its skull, obviously from the photograph of the injury, the skull was breached.
Yes, it was.
Did the skull breach more easily than a human skull would have under the same conditions, do you think? I don't know how hard you swung that thing.
Well, I swung fairly hard. I'm surprised I hit it, because I'm not an athlete. But it hit hard enough to tear a hole in the skin and in bone material approximately 1.5 inches by 1 inch, exposing the inner material.
In the picture, it would appear there is blood. It would appear to be blood. It's red, some kind of red material. Is that what we're seeing in the photograph? Blood?
Yes.
Blood. All right. So the creature screams this horrible scream and goes down, and no more movement from it.
No more movement at all.
It's dead.
As far as I knew, it was dead.
So
At that moment, I was an emotional basket case.
I imagine you were. All right. what did you do next? I mean, okay, let's go to the third picture. We've got two pictures of the creature, and then we've got a third photograph of what to me appears to be an elongated black triangle ship literally hovering in the middle of the forest. How far was this from the creature?
That was probably 75 feet away from where the creature was.
75 feet.
Mm-hmm. Through some brush and kind of down in a little valley on the other side.
All right. The photography is difficult because we look at the plants in the foreground, and it makes the ship look small, relatively small.
Well, the dimensions of the ship were relatively small, and I'm not necessarily saying it is a ship. I'm saying it is something.
Okay, yeah, we made that assumption. You're absolutely correct that it was a ship. It is an object.
It is an object which I ended up calling the obelisk for lack of a better description. But it was a large, wedge-shaped, black triangle. It had 6 sides. It was flat-pointed in the front and flat-pointed in the back. It wasn't symmetrical. It was longer one end than the other.
That's clear.
It was made of a material that felt like granite or marble.
Did you touch it?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God! So you walked up after the creature's dead, lying there on the ground.
After about an hour.
An hour?
I heard something. I heard something that sounded like a hum.
You remained in that location for an hour.
I remained in that location for over 3 hours.
What did you do during this time?
I was so sick, I basically couldn't move.
What were your symptoms?
Well, I had definitely an emotional breakdown as far as not knowing what had happened. At first, I thought I had killed a child. And I had to make sure that this wasn't a child.
I understand.
And then after seeing what had happened with Susie, a dog that I'd had for years, I was very, very upset. I was very disturbed. I was sick to my stomach. I would try to stand and walk. I was dizzy. I would become nauseated. I barely could stand. I would sit back down. I would cry, trying to figure out what was happening.
And I suppose you had, no doubt, some guilt about having killed. You killed some kind of creature.
Well, at that point,
you didn't know what to do.
I don't know that my mind was trying to logically assume that this was a creature. All I had known was everything had fallen apart. And I felt totally disoriented.
And so for an hour, you were just sick and in shock. And after an hour, you recovered enough, I take it, to begin to notice your surroundings beyond this creature in front of you. And that's when you noticed what you're calling the obelisk.
I noticed a sound in the air that almost felt like it touched my skin. It almost gave me goosebumps. And I followed that sound because I thought it might be another person.
Of course.
I thought it might be somebody who could help me. Because I needed help. At that point, I needed help. And I went toward that sound thinking it might be another camper or something in the area.
Sure.
And as I went farther and farther, I started to feel like there was something else there, another presence. And to describe that is very difficult. It's almost like static electricity when you walk into a room when it's very, very cold outside.
Yes.
And your hair stands up on the back of your neck.
Yes.
That's what it felt like. And then I backed away. I was afraid. I didn't know what was going on. And I kind of ran down the path and again fell to the ground. I was sick. I got up after some time and walked back. And from a different angle, I started to see through the bushes that there was something through the bushes, through the trees, about 50 feet from me, and I went forward and saw this thing. And the first pictures that I took, I wasn't sure that they would come out because of the way that air felt.
What were the pictures, the first pictures that you took, what were they of?
Well, of this obelisk.
Yes.
And I started to think, well, maybe I should back up. Maybe if I got farther back, something would come out. If there was something going on with static electricity or something.
radiation or whatever
Well,
ruined the photograph, so you went back from it. And I have some of those other photographs, folks,
Right.
by the way.
Now, the photograph that you have up on the web, Mr. Bell, is one that I took probably 30 feet in front to one side of the obelisk, and I was almost on the ground because I was trying to get a clear, steady exposure. The tree canopy in that area was extremely dense,
Yes, I
and
can
it
see.
was a overcast day.
I can see that as well. For those who can't clearly see it, through just barely through some of the trees, you can see the sky, and it was clearly gray and overcast. No question.
When I was taking the pictures, the exposure time was probably at least a half a second.
Do you still have the negatives, Doctor?
Yes, absolutely.
You do. Are you willing to have the negatives examined?
Yes, I am.
You are.
Did you take any pictures of the creature and your dog?
Well, my dog was nowhere to be found.
Your dog
The
was
dog
gone.
was gone.
The dog literally, if I heard his description correctly, how did you put it, Robert?
It collapsed. The dog collapsed into herself.
Into herself.
And then disappeared?
And just disappeared into what I found on the ground to be looking like some type of white ash.
Did you get any of this?
No, I didn't.
No.
No, so
Considering everything that had happened, and what continued to happen, I'm surprised I was able to walk out of there.
so am I. Let's
too, yes.
The next thing I'm curious about, if I can ask, is the obelisk. You were there for a total of 3 hours, found or noticed the obelisk after about an hour, took photographs. What happened to this obelisk? Was it still there when you left the area, or
Yes. In
it
fact,
Oh,
when
my.
when I walked up to it, it was making a humming sound. And when I touched it, the sound stopped. And as I pulled my hand back, I noticed that it changed its tone slightly, and it became less irritating, the sound. Almost a harmonic that felt like a much more pleasant sound.
Okay.
When you touched it, how did it feel?
Like stone.
Cold or warm?
Cold like ice.
It was like ice. And it also, when it was slapped, when Jonathan slapped it, absorbed the sound completely.
You
Yes,
slapped
maybe-
it. You slapped it.
Well, I went to push on it, and I slipped, and I used my other arm to kind of stop myself on the edge of it. And as I hit it, it made no sound.
Did it move when you hit it at all?
No. It was almost like it was anchored to the air.
How far above the ground was it actually hovering?
Approximately 36 inches, maybe 48 at the most.
Okay.
The dimensions, I don't know if I mentioned them, but it was approximately 2.5 feet high, about 4 feet, 4.5 feet wide, and about 9 or 9.5 feet long.
That looks about right, according to the adjacent foliage. I had comments from people who were assuming this was a ship, and
No.
they said, well, it's too small. The other comments that I've had, Doctor, it's an extremely clear photograph, and people have said, with respect to the craft and the photographs of the creature, how were you able to keep your senses under such extreme conditions to take such steady, clear photographs? I mean, most photographs we get from people submitted of UFOs and or creatures are, people always constantly complain, they're distorted, they're blurry, they're foggy, they're indistinct, and people in this case are complaining about exactly the opposite. Your pictures, they say, are too damn clear. How did you do that?
Well, after spending a couple of hours emotional and upset and sick, I think I stabilized a little bit and quieted down and thought about the fact that I had my cameras and that no one would believe what happened to my dog.
How about that for a wild ride indeed? I hate to interrupt our fantastic discussion, but it seems like the top of the hour has arrived, and you know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the legendary Nighthawk News. But don't worry, we'll be continuing our exploration of Dr. Jonathan Reed's YouTube video from 1998, so stay tuned and don't extinguish your radio. The best is yet to come.
This is the end of part 2.